I think Saudi Arabia, I would like to say ideally has a lot more in common with Iran than Israel, but actually politically, in reality, it's the opposite. I told you Saudi Arabia is basically an Arab Israel. Think of it that way. Not that most people in the country in Saudi Arabia feel that way. They don't. They would agree with what I'm saying. But the government, you can think of them as an Arab Israel, which is an oxymoron, but yeah, nevertheless, it's true. You know, Saudi Arabia are basically the Arab, attack dog of the United States. Now, with BRICS, having acceded to BRICS, Saudi Arabia, doing deals now with China and the global South that go counter, that go against the interests of the United States. It doesn't mean that all the things that we just mentioned of how common their politics are with Israel and the United States change, or rather disappear, because this is true. This happened. And right now you can see MBS and Netanyahu openly saying that, yeah, normalization is in the cards. It's a question of time. It's a question of time, they say. So this makes you question why. And of course, we can see that while Saudi Arabia is basically looking out for its own interests. Saudi Arabia is hedging, basically placing its bets on both sides and saying that, if BRICS succeeds, well, we're part of BRICS now, so we're good. We'll be set. And if it doesn't, because there's going to be a counter to that, there's going to be a competitor basically an economic pipeline that not only competes with BRICS but tries to sabotage BRICS and the New Silk Road, especially in particular, then they'll also be set, right? Because you'll have it going from India through the UAE, through Saudi Arabia, through Jordan, and into Israel, and then onwards to Europe. Saudi Arabia gets to win both ways, right? Saudi Arabia wins either way. So that's what they're doing. They're looking out for their own interests. But I think that's a selfish thing to do, especially when Saudi Arabia says, well, we care about the Palestinians. Or at least they pretend to care. Did you consult the Palestinians before you said you're going to normalize with the Israelis? What did they say? What are you going to do? You're going to give them a few pennies? Because that's what they said. They were going to give them this aid that was cut off. So what? You can't put a price on the betrayal of normalizing ties with Israel. What is Israel going to give the Palestinians? Who is Israel to give the Palestinians anything in the first place? Why should the Palestinians have to, get something from Israel? Who is Israel? They're an occupier.